So, I'm in order to do section 4.3, we need access to a Texas Instruments calculator. I tend to use the 89. So what I did was I went online and I Googled TI-84 emulator, and they have one for the Mac and they have one for a PC. And the first thing that I need you to do, and by the way, I clicked on the 90-day free trial version. So 90 days is longer than our remaining portion of the semester. So if you need to use a calculator and you need to call it up, here you go. All right. So first thing I did, if you can watch my arrow, you probably can't. So I hit the second key and the 0 key, and that's the catalog. And then up here, I had to arrow down and keep arrowing down until I got to diagnostic on. And at diagnostic on, I'm going to hit enter. It's asking, do you want the diagnostic on? And all you have to do is hit enter, and then it says done. And you want that on for what we're about to do. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn on our stat plot. So we're going to hit the second key, and we're going to hit the y equals key. The second key, the y equals key. And now you have these plots. Well, we need to hit enter on number 1. Number 1 is highlighted. So we travel down over here. We click on the enter button right there. We want this on, so we hit enter on. And you'll notice that the on is highlighted black. This one right here is our scatter plot. That's the one that we're looking for. We want to use this. The X list is L1, the Y list is L2. So we now need to go enter in data. All right. And we need, in order to do that, to hit our stat key, which is right here. So we'll hit our stat key. We are going to edit a list, so we just hit the enter key. And in L1, we're going to type in the data from number 8 on page 329. So L1 is 0. So you hit the 0, and you hit return, and it'll be a 0. Then you hit your 2, return, your 4, return, your 6, return, your 8, return, and your 10, return. Now you need to arrow over. So you got to hit that over arrow to get to L2. And the data there will be negative 22. So the negative key is down here. That's the minus key. Make sure you're hitting the negative key. So minus 22. And then hit enter. And then minus 19. And then hit enter. And then minus 15. And then hit enter. Minus 11. Then hit enter. Then minus 6. Hit enter. And minus 2. Hit enter. Okay, so the first thing we're just going to do is we're going to hit the second key, which is here, and then we're going to say zoom, because we're going to make this graph our data. Okay, so hit the second key, we're going to hit the zoom key, and what it's going to say, well, I screwed up, my apologies. Not the second key and the zoom key, I just want the straight up zoom key. There we go. Now you're going to arrow down until you get to zoom stat, which is number 9. And then you're going to hit enter. And you see we have a scatter plot here. And these are just dots along the graph. Now, what we're going to do from here is we're going to get a regression line. So we're going to go back to our stats key, which is right here. And we're going to go over to calculate. We want this one. So we arrow over once, and we're looking for number 4. So we're going to arrow down to number 4, and we're going to hit enter on number 4. The X list again is the L1. The Y list is the L2. Now the frequency list we leave blank. You can store the regression equation. I'm going to just leave that be for right now because sometimes it confuses some things. So I'm just going to arrow down to calculate. And I'm going to hit enter on calculate. And what it gives me is my slope, the 2.0482, and my intercept, the negative 22.714. It also gives me an r squared, which is really your coefficient of determination. We don't use it right now. We have our r value, which is 0.99. The r value is between -1 and 1, and the closer it is to 1 or -1, the stronger the correlation is. Simply put, if you're around a 0.9 or a 0.8 and you have a small data set, like things that we'll be working with, you've got correlation. If you're around -0.9 or -0.8, you have negative correlation. Now, I'm going to slide this over here, and this is the graph again. It's fairly close to a line. Let's remember our 2.04 and our negative 22.7, and we'll go to our y equals, and we'll do our 2.04 x, oops, so 2.04, and then the xt theta key, and then plus, now that's our variable key right there, make sure you catch that, and then it was a negative, the negative key is down at the bottom, 22.7, so 22.7. And then we go ahead and just hit graph, which is in that space there. So I got to find my cursor, there it is, and we go graph. And your line now fits the data. And data is fairly tight in there, that's why it's so close. Okay, so what I showed you how to do was to make a scatter plot and to find the linear regression, as well as how to take that equation and put it onto the y equals. That's going to be valuable for the stuff in section 4.3. All right, talk to you later.